Hello all on YouTube and Twitch. Welcome back to the stream. We are back with some more GT4. Continuing the playthrough from yesterday. And already, off the gate, I have made a mistake. Yesterday, in yesterday's stream, we were searching through the used car dealership for some cars to use for, well, the one-make race events, to be honest. And the mistake I made was only purchasing one of them, when I think we had not only the money but also the time to buy multiple of the cars. And unfortunately, the dealerships have updated, so I can't really do that for those cars that I saw. But there are two cars that we can buy for some one-make events, and I will show you them in a minute. Yo, welcome back to the stream, Vitor. Yeah, let me show you the cars that we are looking at. So there's two. The first one is this, the 1994 TVR Griffith 500. This is going to be used for the Blackpool Races series in the TVR dealership. And the other one is in the late 90s used car showroom. All the way at the very, very bottom, it is this, the 2000 Renault Clio Renault Sport V6 24 valve, which is going to be used for the Clio trophy. Now we will buy this. We'll buy the Renault first, just in case the dealership updates, and we want to prioritize the more expensive cars over the cheaper ones. So we'll buy this Renault for starters in blue lead. And then we'll go buy the TVR next. It's a shame these refresh so quickly. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about it. It's just something that I didn't think of at the time. Now we'll go buy this TVR as well. In flip-flop yellow. And wow, would you look at that? The used car showroom updated. This will give us a chance to have a look then at potentially other cars that we can purchase for other events. So let's have a look. Starting with the 80s showroom. We have nothing to use there, nothing of use there. The early 90s showroom. There's nothing of use there. And the late 90s showroom. There's one car. We've got a 1999 Peugeot 206 S16 for the 206 Cup. And that's it. So we'll buy that Peugeot because there isn't anything else here. No. Yeah. Buy the Peugeot for 11,535 credits in Vert Patagonie. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we'll run with it. And yeah, we'll do the Clio trophy first. So for starters, we'll give it a wash, as well as an oil change. And because we're going to be going up against the Clio Trophy race cars, I will be upgrading this car quite a bit. I'm going to try and see if... we'll see when we get to the upgrades. If it's a championship, or if it's just a standard series, then I will see if I can get away with nitrous, triple plate clutch, racing flywheel, and the racing medium tires. If it's a championship, then I'll put on a few more upgrades just to be safe. So we'll go to France, then Renault, events. It's a championship, alright, yeah, so we're going to do a little bit more upgrading then. So sports exhaust and air filter. Going to do the racing chip, nitrous, the triple plate clutch, the racing flywheel, racing medium tires, and stage 1 weight reduction. All of that together should be enough for us to be at least somewhat close in terms of performance. It's quite a bit of money on the line, so I'm assuming that we have a pretty good car or a pretty good reward car. If I'm not wrong, I think the reward car for the vanilla game was the Clio trophy car, or the trophy race car. So I don't know if it is the same for the Spec 2 mod, but we will have to see. Gonna do a qualifying lap just in case. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm gonna take the risk. It's a 2-lap race. Let's have a look. 146 points. Interesting. Alright, there we go. We used our nitrous to get ourselves into an early lead before turn 1. Which is important because it is always better to use nitrous defensively than it is to attack, mainly because it allows you to save more than use. Alright. Might be like the Beetle Cup. Yeah, that's why I wanted to be more cautious with the I wanted to be more safe with this championship in terms of upgrades rather than trying to like risk getting away with saving some money on upgrades. But it looks like the upgrades we've paid for appear to be good enough for us to win this quite easily, which is good. Use some nitrous on the straight here. Could have carried a little bit more speed there through 130R. Seems like without nitrous we are probably a little bit faster than the race cars. And then just with nitrous, it's pretty much just a runaway. I'm assuming it's similar to the Lupo Cup, where they are running a softer compound to what the race car would normally get stock. Which, if it's like the Lupo Cup cars, the Clio would probably have racing super hard stock. And I think they might be running mediums. That's my guess, at least. Yeah, we're doing great. This car's driving pretty nicely, actually. Have to be a little bit careful under the brakes because the suspension is a little bit soft for the tires. So it will be prone to oversteering a bit under the brakes. It's also the second time in a row now that I've dipped an outside wheel in the grass and put it into a slide at the hairpin. I think at this point in the National A events, it's probably better, or at least just a better use of time to just be safe and just kind of upgrade the car a little bit over what would normally be competitive enough. Just because I feel like with the National A events, it's not really worth getting away with under, like, not putting enough upgrades in, or getting away with, like, the cheapest amount you can get away with, at least. Yeah, this has been pretty easy for a 146 point race as we take the first round of the championship. I think the championships as well is what makes me want to be a little bit safer with the upgrades. Just because at least with like the single races I can get away with, or at least with the single races it's more easier to get away with starting with minor upgrades and then getting an idea on the competition and then just upgrading for the rest of the events. Yeah, 10,000 credits for each race. That's pretty good money. And that means we will be able to we'll be essentially making up all the money that we spent on this car after like race 3 or 4. We'll be fine. At least I hope so. Maybe they're running racing hards if I'm judging from the speed that they're carrying in the corners. It's hard to tell. Alright, well we're into P3 now, we're in the podium spots. We are noticeably quicker in the corners than the race cars, which is why I'm wondering if they're actually on the hard tyre and not the medium. Done some nitrous here on the straight. This will be able to get us in the lead hopefully by the end of this corner. Yep. Now we can use our nitrous a lot more conservatively. I like that you can see the super speedway oval just in the distance there. Then you go under the oval on the bridge there. I always found it weird that, or at least I always found oval circuits in international countries that aren't the United States. I always found it a bizarre thing, since you would think that oval racing would be something that's like a US exclusive thing with NASCAR and all that, but yeah, it's definitely unique. Use our nitrous again. I think after seeing this, we might, if for future events at least, I will, instead of buying the racing medium tire, I think I might downgrade to the racing hard, because it seems like the racing medium might be a bit overkill. And at least by downgrading to the hard, I'll be saving at least a little bit of money. .1 ahead of P2 at the end of Sector 1. This has been very nice to drive this Renault with the racing medium tyres on it. And all of the other upgrades as well, of course. 8.9 at the end of Sector 2, so we gained about 8 tenths. Dump some more nitrous on this straight. Ten seconds now. So we pulled another 1.4 in that sector. And rounding the final corner, that's going to be round 2 of 5 of the championship in the bag for us. And another solid 146 points as well. So we're going to be getting a lot of A-Spec points from this championship, which is good. Winning margin 12.2 seconds. And another 10,000 credits. Round 3, we got 6 laps of Tsukuba Circuit. Can't imagine how these spectators feel showing up to the Clio Trophy and seeing all of the race cars getting walked on by the road car. Be very confusing marketing for Renault. to advertise that their road car is so fast it beats their race cars. Already into P3, heading onto the straight. I'm going to overtake P2. Wait until the exit of the final corner to go for the move. Here's our nitrous again. We're just going to take the lead getting onto lap 2. Despite it being a 6-lap race, the medium tyres should be durable enough to hold out for the rest of the race. And now that we're in the lead as well, we can switch to using our nitrous defensively, although I doubt we'll even need to use it at all for this race, given how much faster our car is naturally. We will use our nitrous though on the straights, just because we can. It's like we're racing for the first like 1 to 2 laps, and then the rest of the race is just a hot lapping session. We're 7.6 seconds ahead at the end of lap 3, the end of the halfway point even. 8.3 at the end of sector 1. .2 at the end of sector 2. Forgot to use nitrous that lap. .3 at the end of lap 4. .7 at the end of lap sector 1. That's another 4 tenths. Pulled another 8 tenths in sector 2. Final lap now. Pulled another 1.1 seconds at the end of lap 5. Pulled 3 tenths in sector 1. rounding the final corner now. That's round 305 of the championship in the bag. We won by 14.2 seconds. It's another 10,000 credits. Next we got 4 laps of Deep Forest Raceway. Use our nitrous to get past P5. Gonna go around the outside of P4. Yep. We'll get the cut back on P3. Around the outside of P2. Use some nitrous to take the lead of the race. .4 seconds, the lead is at the end of lap 1. .4 at the end of sector 1. So it's like a whole 3 seconds we gained in the first sector alone. Oh. Carried a bit too much speed, we went wide. 9.1. So that was another 3 or 2.5 seconds in the second sector. Use some more nitrous, we're now halfway through the race. .1 at the end at the halfway point, so that's another 2 seconds gained in the final sector. .19 in sector 1, so that's another 1.8 seconds we've pulled. Have they nerfed the championship? I don't think they nerfed it. I think it's just that we probably just over upgraded. We just came into this championship over prepared is all. .1. Because I'm sure if we went into this championship with like the stock, like even just a stock Clio Trophy race car, it would probably still be even with even on the racing super hard tires, we would probably be struggling to even maintain a lead, let alone win the race. On the last lap now though, we have a commanding lead, dominating lead. This car is so fast in the corners. And that is round 4 of 5 of the championship in the bag. Another 10,000 credits secured. So we have for sure made up all the money that we've spent on upgrades for this car back. As we head into the final race, which is 3 laps of El Capitan reverse. Use our nitrous here on the standing start to take the lead before we get to turn 1. Just like that. And at the end of Sector 1 we already have, oh, if I can keep all 4 wheels on the road, we have a 4.1 second lead, which has probably gone down because of that mistake. The end of Sector 2, we've extended that gap another 2 seconds. Then the nitrous. It's 1 lap down, 2 to go. Lift off the nitrous. Gap's now 9.4, so we've pulled another 3.3 seconds in that final sector alone. Gap's 13.5, so that's another 4.1 seconds gained in Sector 1. 17 seconds. That's another 5. That's another 3.5 seconds in sector 2. We're on the final lap now. Gap is 19.9 seconds starting the final lap. This is going to be a nice and relaxing start to the stream. And that is going to be the Clio Trophy all done. And that would have been like 700 plus A-spec points won across that whole championship. Another 10,000 credits, which is going to bring us back over 300,000. And an extra 50,000 credits for winning the championship. Which is the most amount of championship money that we've won so far in this playthrough. But what's the first reward card going to be? We get the same car as the vanilla game. The 2000 Clio Renault Sport Trophy V6 24 valve race car. And we got in the number 99 pink car. And now since there was 5 races and therefore 5 days. Oh, okay, no, never mind. The lineup has updated. So let's actually, before I continue, I need to scrub off the Clio Trophy from the list of remaining events left. There we go, alright. So let's have a look through here. Got nothing in the 80s showroom. Nothing in the early 90s showroom. And nothing in the late 90s showroom. So that means we can move on with the next One Make Race event, which I'm going to do the 206 Cup next. So we'll grab our 99 206 S16. give it a wash and an oil change for extra power. Now we'll give it the oil change. Yes, the infamous 206 cup. So we are probably gonna need to do some upgrading for this event. And quite a bit of upgrading. Oil change done. So yeah. The question I have is it as hard in the Spec 2 mod as it is in the main vanilla game? It says here we can get 7,500 credits for winning the race, which tells me that it is probably going to be a pretty heavy race in terms of upgrades. What I'll say is I'll put the usual baseline upgrades on first, which is nitrous for starters, the triple plate clutch, and the racing flywheel. And we'll go into this race, and if it is as hard as the 206 Cup in the vanilla game, then we will go and put a lot more upgrades into this car. So up against an 01 206cc, 203 206 RCs, and 299 206 S16s. Go into our settings. Crank up the nitrous output to 100. How many points? This will tell us. 173 points. So I think they're upgraded. And quite a bit. Let's see what we can do with our current 206. I mean, block me off. Yeah, they're pretty quick. Not as quick as I was expecting them to be. Go for a big lunge there. We hit the inside ball though, so we weren't able to make it work. We have gotten into P5 though, and we still have 2.5 more laps to go. So it's, I mean, as it stands right now, it's not looking impossible. And if I'm not wrong, the reward car for this in the vanilla game was the 85-205 T16 rally car. Not the Evo 2, the standard 345 horsepower one. It doesn't look like we will be... Yeah, as time is going on, it's looking like I might not be able to win this race. Also, I just noticed that there's no tire wear in this race either. My fuel meter's here, so there's fuel consumption, but there's no tire wear, which is interesting. Anyways, oh, big lunge. We're into P2. It actually might be doable, this, with just the upgrades that we have on the car. Gaining on the 206cc. Gone too deep in that corner though. It's not good. It's not going to help us. Just a little bit of nitrous on this straight here to keep us close. 9/10's getting onto the final lap now. Can we make this work and win with just 3 upgrades? Short shift into 3rd so we can get more usage out of our nitrous. Lift off here in the corner. We're carrying more speed. We're going to get the overtake done on the straight. I think we might. I think we don't need to upgrade our 206 any more than what we have. Short shift into 3rd again. Yeah. This is huge. Big money saving here. I wonder if they nerfed maybe the 206 Cup. Which if they did, that tells me that maybe they have changed the reward car if this is nerfed. But yeah, that's going to be race 1 of 3 with the 206 Cup in the bag, and a nice, a very nice 173 A-Spec points in the bag as well, with a 2.7 second winning margin. And all we needed was, well, nitrous, a triple plate clutch, and a racing flywheel. 7,500 credits. It's looking good so far. Next we've got 3 laps of Suzuka circuit. The West course, to be specific. And now we are going up against 2 206cc's and 3 206 RC's. Is that going to change the A-Spec points? Yes, 164. So that means that the 206S16 is the fastest of the AI then. Thank the Lord for a standing start, because that's made this a lot easier. Also, this is a sign that they've made changes to the 206 Cup, at least the races that we race at, because the West course layout of Suzuka is never been used in the vanilla game in GT mode, as we had our corner compromised there by being forced into the grass by the white 206 RC. Gonna use some nitrous to help get ourselves ahead again. Yeah, which is a bit surprising because, I mean, I had always assumed that the 206 RC was the fastest of the bunch, which I think it is. But, yeah, it's a bit ironic that the fastest of the 206's stock is the slowest in the 206 Cup. Also, because we're on the west course layout, there is not only no tyre wear, or not only tyre wear is disabled, but fuel consumption is also disabled, and that's because the west course layout, which is probably why it was never used in the vanilla game, the west course layout doesn't have a pit lane. If you pass through here, the pit lane is closed. Ooh, topping out on the straight. Because you know we don't really need top speed as I carry way too much speed through 130R. They do. That's because they are, at the end of the day, still more powerful and are on most likely sports tires, while I still am running a stock 206 S16 in terms of power, and I'm also on road tires. So I'm pretty much using the nitrous as a way to keep up with the AI, because if I didn't use the nitrous, then well, they're just gonna overpower me and just pass me on the straights. Turned in a bit too early and almost carried too much speed through 130R again. You wonder if the 206 WRC is still the reward here. I thought the reward for this was the 205 Turbo 16 rally car, the 345 horsepower one. I mean, it's fair to assume that it would be the 206 rally car since it is the 206 Cup after all, but yeah, I mean, for all we know, maybe they did change the reward car so that it is the 206 rally car in the Spec 2 mod. We'll just have to see. But that's going to be race 2 of the 206 Cup wrapped up. And another 164 A-Spec points as well. And another 7,500 credits. on to our final race. 2 laps of Côte d'Azur. Côte d'Azur. I'm good at this. I don't know if you could do it yourself. It could be that. I do like to think of myself as pretty good at GT4 and just racing games in general. I mean, I do play Forza Motorsport at an esports level. It's another 164 A-spec points because we are running pretty much the exact same lineup as the Suzuka West race. 2 206cc's and 3 206RC's. As always, going to be using some nitrous here to keep up with the AI and do some overtaking. So that's P5 going into turn 2. We're going to get squeezed into the wall here. That's P4. We're going to get P3 here going into the hairpin. Short shift into third gear and then use the nitrous here to get an overtake done for P2. We're going to take the right hand side. Going into the chicane now. We're going to short shift into third again. Understeer a little bit too much. Carried too much speed into that corner. Very nice apex there on the right hander. Touch of nitrous. Oh, amazing apex on that first half of the double apex. And now we'll use our nitrous. Might be able to get an overtake here going into turn 1 as we start the final lap. We absolutely are. Alright, yeah, 206 Cup, a lot easier than I was expecting, and also a lot cheaper therefore. Don't need nitrous for the rest of this race. We are quite far ahead. I think they definitely nerfed the 206 Cup because I'm fairly certain this was a lot harder than usual in the vanilla game. Actually, I think the AI had fully upgraded 206s in the vanilla game, whereas it seems like here I doubt they're running fully upgraded cars. And if they are not putting it to use. Round the final corner. Burn some nitrous on the start finish straight, and that is the 206 Cup. wrapped up bars. Another 164 A spec points as well. 4.8 second winning margin. Another 7,500 credits. And another reward car. What's it gonna be? Is it the same as the vanilla game? We get... It's not the same as the vanilla game. It's the 1985 Peugeot 205 Turbo 16 road car. Interesting. That's probably why the 206 Cup was easier in the Spec 2 mod, because they made the reward car slower. Well, they gave us a slower reward car. Interesting. And so with that, let's check for the showroom. Showroom is not updated, which means we will be doing the Blackpool Races series next in our TVR. So as always, give it a wash and an oil change first. Wash done, oil change now. Oil change done. Now off to the UK, to the TVR dealership and event. Blackpool Races. So no, it's a series, so I will go into this race with a stock Griffith, see how many points there are on offer, and that will give us an idea on how tough this event will be. We've got a 97 Cerberus Speed 6, Cerberus Speed 12, a Tuscan Speed 6, a Tomorrow, and a T350C. Obviously the Cerberus Speed 12 is going to be the main threat, although it's not as fast in the hands of the AI because it is really poor online. As you can see, it already got passed by the Tuscan and the Tamora before we even get to turn 1. And we took the lead of the race before we get to turn 1 as well. Massive understeer though. This also sounds really nice. So this is also looking like it's going to be another money-saving race as well. Because that Cerberus is kind of suffering. As we have to do 5 laps of Suzuka East. And this is really understeery off throttle in the corners. Five seconds at the end of lap 1 we're leading by. Now in terms of reward cars, pretty sure the reward car in the vanilla game was the Cerberus Speed 12 in a special color. I think the special color was Chameleon, I think it was called. I'm wondering if the reward car is unchanged because I don't see how... Well, I don't know what else they would have or they could use as a reward car that you can't already purchase either at the used dealership or the new cars dealership without it being in a special color, of course. I need to pay attention to where I'm driving. I'm literally mowing the lawn. 2 laps in and the Cerberus Speed 6 is still in P2, which means the Speed 12 still hasn't managed to take the lead, take P2 yet. It's in P3, I can tell because it's gaining on the Speed 6 a lot on the straight, but by the time we get to a corner, it just falls in line with the rest of the cars. It's what happens when you have massive amounts of power and no grip to use it. And look at my tires. That's how understeery this car has been. It is just eating up the front way more than the rears, which is not normal for a rear-wheel drive car. It's a good thing though that we went for the Griffith, because this is like one of the most bang for your buck cars that you can buy in the used car dealers. And as you can see, it is, at least at Suzuka East, it is more than quick enough to win without any upgrades. That's going to be race 1 of the Blackpool Races series, all wrapped up. And a solid 123 points to go with it. And I see that the Cerberus Speed 12 also managed to get past the Cerberus Speed 6. And only 3,000 credits for that race. Interesting. Does that mean that the reward car isn't actually going to be that quick? Anyways, next race we got 3 laps of Special Stage Route 5, and fortunately the 2000 Cerberus is in P5. I think that said it was a 101 point race as well. Which is less points than what we had in the Suzuka race, probably because the V8S is in this race. Cerberus already gotten past the V8S going into turn 1. The goal here is to make sure that we are keeping up with the 2000 Cerberus while it's in traffic, and ideally get past it, like we have now, and then catch up to the leader and take the lead as soon as possible so that we can build as big of a gap as we can in this race. I'm going to go down the inside of the Tuscan here for P3, down the inside of the 97 Cerberus for P2, and we're going to dive down the inside of the T350C to take the lead of the race. Yeah, it suffers from the problem of lots of power and not a whole lot of grip to put down that power. So it tends to end up being really slow in the corners, especially in the exits. But once it grips up, it is just a rocket ship. Which is why it's important for us to take the lead of the race as soon as possible and build up as much of a gap, so that by the time the 2000 Cerberus does take the lead, or does take P2, we still have a lot of ground for it to cover between before the end of the race. And speaking of such, 1 lap down, 2 to go. We got a 3.7 second gap from the T350C. It looks like the Cerberus is still P5, maybe P4, starting lap 2. So it is not having an easy time in those corners. Final lap of the race. Let's have a look at the dots on the map. Okay, so it looks like the Cerberus, the 2000 Cerberus, is still in P5 in that lap, and it's just taken P4, which is actually really good. And not that it mattered that it was going to take P2 anyways, we are already so far ahead of the field that it doesn't even matter. Alright, that is race 2 of the Blackpool Racers series in the bag. Dominated that race. A nice 101 points secured. Yeah, look at that. 2,000 Cerberus still in P4. Another 3,000 credits, measly 3,000 poots of money. Yep, it very much does not like corners, which is good for us. That last race, however, is going to be a track that the Cerberus may potentially like. But next we've got 3 laps of Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We've got the T350C on pole, 2000 Cerberus in P2, Tuscan's P3, Tabora P4, and the V8S is P5. It's going to be a 102 point race. I'm assuming this because we have the slightly faster Tamora over the 97 Cerberus that's giving us that extra 1 point. Straight away we're going to be taking the V8S into turn 1 for P5. Going to get the Tamora out of the exit of T2. Going to outbrake the Tuscan into this corner for P3. Yep, Cerberus gripped up, pulling away now. But as soon as we get to a corner, it is unbelievably slow. I am literally passing it coming out of the corner for P2. Your favourite TVR has to be the Sagittarius. I like it. I wouldn't be able to tell you what my favourite TVR is though. I haven't had a look at their entire roster to be able to give you an answer. Because I do like the ones that I have seen, I just like them all. They're all cool cars. Anyway, we've taken the lead now. Heading on to lap 2. Griffith is good. Although, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the 94 that I'm driving or the more recent 2018 model? Either way, I like both of them. They're both great cars, in my opinion. The new one, sadly, you don't think will ever make it to production? I thought it was already in production. I didn't think it was a concept car. If that's the case, it is a shame that it never made it to production, because I think it's a really cool car. Last lap now. I'm kind of understanding why the race is 3,000 credits per win, even though I still think that is a little bit low for a National A license event. It's like, I mean, come on, you have National B events that are paying more than that. Oh, back on the road. Also, you know what, I just realized as well that the Clio Trophy wasn't the highest paying championship payout that I've gotten in from a championship so far in the playthrough, because it is still being held, that record is still being held so far by the Grand Tour Championship, which is a championship that doesn't even require a license to compete in. And you get paid 15,000 credits per race win, and then an extra 75,000 credits for winning the championship, which is insane for a championship that doesn't even need a license. It's going to be race 3 though, of the Blackpool Races series secured in the bag, and another 102 points secured. $3,000 credits. Speed 12 again was struggling. Stayed in P3 the whole race. Wasn't able to catch up to the T350C. Next race, we got 4 laps of Opera Paris. Got the T350C on pole, the 2000 Cerber in P2, Tomorrow's P3, 97 Cerber is P4, and the Tuscan is P5. That's going to be 123 points. Which I think is the same amount of points we got for the Suzuka race, because I think this is the same grid. It's also good that so far in this series we haven't had a grid where you've had duplicate cars. All the AI has been in their own unique TVR, which is good for variety, because I'm also adding to that variety. Already into P4, P3 make that. Bit of contact with that outside wall. We're going to be able to get P2 into this hairpin here, I bet. Nope, we haven't. We will now. Out of the exit of that right-hander, we've taken P2 from the 2000 Cerberus. And we'll be able to take the lead coming out of this next corner here, because they go really slow. Right around the outside of the T350C, that's the lead of the race. One lap in, gaps 4.4 to the T350C. Oh. Hit the outside wall there. Halfway through the race and we're leading by 14.8 seconds. Still by the T350C. Yeah, the T350C does seem to be a pretty competent car. Granted, though, it has had the pleasure on multiple occasions to be starting at the front of the grid, and didn't have to be held up by the 2000 Cerberus, unlike most of the other TVRs. So who knows if it is? I mean, I would assume it's still a good car regardless. Although it doesn't have the value that the Griffith has in this game, given that it's not a used car, unlike the Griffith. The Griffith just has that bang for buck value. Have I seen any TVRs IRL? I can't say I have. I doubt that they would be very popular here where I am in Australia. I don't think there are many TVRs. Yeah. And we have absolutely demolished the AI in that race. Japanese imports are really popular though, they sure are. They sure are. Although Japanese imports are pretty popular in most places in the world. That's going to be race 4 of the Blackpool Racer Series done. Another 123 A-Spec points in the bag. Another 3,000 credits. One more race though, and the one race where the 2000 Cerberus might actually have a chance of being P2 in this race. You don't see many, if any, Japanese imports where you live? Well, like I said it's in most places. Anyways, we got Fuji Speedway 2005 now. We got the Tomorrow on pole. 97. We got oh wait, no, hold on. The 2000 Cerberus is not even in this race. We've just got the 97 Cerberus, the Tuscan in P3, the V8S in P4, and the T350C in P5. Also, is that a Sora OSC in your picture? That is a Toyota Sora that I took a picture of in Horizon 5 because it's one of the newest cars in the Back to the 90s update. Only 34 points for this race because that 2000 Cerberus is not participating. You thought it was a real life picture for some reason? I mean, I try to make them look, my Horizon 5 photos look realistic. That is what I aim for when editing my photos. Speaking of Horizon 5, actually, I spent most of my day today actually grinding this week's festival playlist because they just released the 1990 Aston Martin Lagonda today, and so I wanted to not only get that but also continue my streak of 100% completion on all festival playlists. Anyway, end of lap 1. Gap is 10.5 seconds from the Tamora in P2. Yes, definitely a wedge. What do you think they're going to add to FH5 next in terms of the Forza Prize cars? Do you mean the festival playlist cars? Because if so, I'm not sure, to be honest, because the next one was called the Horizon Track Day, I think. So given the title of that, it's most likely going to be track cars. As for ones, I'm guessing probably the 992 generation 911 GT3 RS might be one. Yeah, that would be like one that I can guess off the top of my head. I'm not sure what else they would add though. The Alpine A110R. They could add that as well, yeah. They could also add the... Actually, no. Yeah, no, they wouldn't be able to add that. That's too early. What else could they add? They could probably add another... They probably might add another touring car, potentially, to go alongside the Hyundai, MG, and Lincoln Co. Maybe even port one from Forza Motorsport. Maserati MC20 GT2 Stradale could be one too. I am not familiar with that car, I will tell you that much. Maybe the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAM. I mean, that would be one I'd be very excited to see come to the game. That's probably like one of my most requested cars. But that's going to be the Blackpool races all wrapped up. Yeah, I'll be happy as well. Whew. Another 3,000 credits. And another reward car. What's it gonna be? Let's find out. It's gonna be... Yep, just as I thought. The 2000 TVR Cerberus Speed 12. Not in a special colour, however. It's in Sunset Pearlescent. Now we will have a look, now that the lineups have been updated for other cars, but first, before I do that, I will update my events list. Move the 206 Cup and Blackpool races now. Alright, let's have a look now. Nothing in the 80s showroom. Nothing in the early 90s showroom. Nothing in the late 90s showroom. Okay. Well, with that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to end the stream there. It was... Apologies for it being a shorter stream. I had to start late because I had dinner later than usual. I will most likely be back tomorrow for another stream. More GT4 as always, to continue this playthrough. And yeah, thank you for coming out. Be sure to follow if you haven't already on both Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Twitch as well if you feel like it. Again, although I don't even know if I even have subscriptions set up properly, but yeah. If not, then I'll find a way. Thanks again though, and I hope to see you in the next stream.